Hi guys, I'm Natalie.
I'm Melindy, and this is Wedding Advice by Pink Book. So my favorite part of my wedding was my harvest table.
That was mine too.
All the cheese, it was amazing.
In this video, Johnny from Slippery Spoon Kitchen takes us behind the scenes to show us how to decorate your harvest table, what to have on it, what not to have on it.
Comment down below, let us know what you think, but most of all, enjoy the video.
And happy planning. All the cheeses!
All the cheeses!
All the cheeses!
There's different types of harvest tables. So if it's a big cheese display, then of course you need a cheese, you need a bread or a cracker to put your cheese on, a beautiful preserve. But I always, when I do harvest tables, I always say like a cold meat, beautiful cheeses, the preserves for the cheeses, and then always think a fish like a smoked salmon, something that can stand out for a long time. And then also I love going Mediterranean with beautiful pestos and dips and things like that to go with beautiful large, chunky, crusty bread. So there should always be bread, always be cheese, cold meats, or any type of protein. There's no rules of the harvest table. That's what's nice. So I think the biggest rule is it's food that should be able to stand, and food that can be enjoyed, and then food that's delicious at room temperature. It's a tricky one when it comes to quantities, because you have to. It's very situational. You have to look at the crowd, who's eating. Is it a big Afrikaans wedding? Then you increase the amount of meat. You know, is it a Cape Town yuppie wedding? Then it's less meat and more vegetables. You know, so it's very situational. So doing quantities, I would say make sure that the total quantity of protein on the table is about 150 grams per person. So that can be 50 grams fish, 50 grams beef, 50 grams pork. And I normally work on a slice of bread or slice and a half of bread per person, so you can kind of think in your head how many breads you have to have. So winter harvest table would be more citrus and citrus product. And then the vegetables would be more root vegetables, because that's winter vegetables. And then of course for summer you'll go into your peaches and your more tropical fruits. But with regards to, charcuterie, charcuterie is a cured product, so that the reason for that, so that we can enjoy it the entire year. So that remains basically the same. Same with smoked salmons and all of that. But it's basically changing your fruit and vegetable. I mean, bread is throughout the seasons. But I mean, for summer, I just go lighter with the salads and stuff that's on there. Less cheese, so not as much butter, and less richer dishes. So just something a bit more lighter. And then sometimes I even do a bowl of ice lollies, vintage ice lollies for people to enjoy. So the etiquette for a harvest table is what I notice at weddings. Guests going to the table without the plate that was provided and just eating and standing there. So always make sure you've got a plate. It's not lunch, it's not dinner, it's the pre-wedding snack. So make sure you take snack-sized portions first of all, and then so you add the snack-sized portion, not a lot and not a lot of variety, to your side plate, and then you leave the display for other people to come help themselves as well. But don't stand there grazing the entire time. So the pros for a harvest table is you need less waitrons, because food's not passed around and people help themselves. So there's less staff involved, so it is more affordable. Also, it adds to your decor because it's beautiful. So you don't have to do that much decor with your pre-dinner drinks. And you know that people will get food because it's on display. You don't have to worry about waitrons taking a canapé to somebody. And I think the only con for me with a harvest table is, in the winelands, is flies. You have to think about it. A lot of the flies are next to horse farms or cow farms or even pig farms. So just prepare with citronella candles and those little propellers and I sometimes just put waiters with those beautiful bamboo fans to just stand there the whole day and get the flies away. So I would say your harvest table you have to do as close to eating time as possible. The reason being, you don't want the food to stand for 2 hours and then people eat it. But it also depends on the size of the harvest table, how many people and how many items on the harvest table. But I always start about 45 minutes with a team of 3 people helping me to set up a harvest table for 100 packs wedding. I would say you need a good 45 minutes, but with 3 helpers to help you, assist you in getting everything out on the table. The most elaborate harvest table is definitely one we did for Jean. I did her wedding. Well, I went to do the harvest table in Italy. She flew me all the way, and we basically spent 2 days in Florence shopping for everything for this harvest table, from cold meats to the most amazing breads and giant parma hams and the most amazing produce. And it was just crystal vases and silver on top, and she just kept telling me Johhny, more is never enough. And it was at this beautiful castle on a hill in the winelands in Italy, and we just like stacked cheeses and meats and fruit and vegetables, and it was absolutely exquisite. That's definitely the most over the top one. So age-old favorite to do crudités at a harvest table because people love it. People, especially now, raw vegetables is a firm favorite and a big trend. But to do it in the whole form and allow people to cut their own veg, and then they can enjoy it with like beetroot hummus and tahini and even hard-boiled quail's eggs, which we're still going to put out. And we love these super fabulous kitsch baskets that cost nothing to do it like a little, like a farmer was just picking out of his vegetable garden. I absolutely despise this new trend of all miniature desserts. I think going back to the proper big cakes and big milk tarts and big meringues with pots, mason jars with decadent chocolate sauce, so people can really dig in and share, But all these miniature desserts, it never really brings out the true flavor and the true character of a dessert. So we're going back to big French fruit tarts and big chiffon cakes and large puffy meringues, and people can just really dig in and really indulge. That's what a harvest table is about. And don't be scared to mix your savory with your dessert. People know they have to eat it later, but it really just enhances your table. I always say if you do hot food on a harvest table, do it in a thick ceramic bowl so it keeps hot for a long while. And then I always have like a big roll of linen, so you can just literally tear or cut off a piece and then use it to take it out in front of your guests. But don't take the cloth away, just wrap it around. This is an artichoke cheesy gratin, and it also keeps it warm and creates a look. Important thing that I always tell everyone when doing harvest tables is to remember that you can use everything in your home. Everything can become a food vessel. So even though it's a candelabra, don't use candles in it. You can do one candle if you like, but you can actually just use it as to put down figs. And then do a few whole figs. Remember, always show the ingredient in its whole form, and then always but rustically, don't cut it with a knife. Tear it open, because that's how they used to do it. Stack them up on your candelabra instead of using candles. So one thing that I really despise is food wastage. And we all have that pot of yogurt in our fridges that's busy going off. Please don't throw it away. Grab a piece of muslin cloth and you put your yogurt inside of it, and you can mix any herb or anything, lime juice or anything. You can flavor it with cinnamon if you like even. And then you hang it for 2 days in your fridge for all the whey to drop out of the cheese. In Afrikaans it's called a hang opkaas because you hang it. But use the cloth, and I always use this crystal urn, and you literally just, after 2 days of hanging, and then you put it in the bowl and you actually just open up the cloth for guests to dish their labne, which is called cheese, which you made yourself. So another favorite of mine is the cheese curling wheel for harvest tables. And this is an exceptional cheese from Dalewood Fromage. It's called the Boerland. It's a semi-hard cheese, and you get these cheese curling wheels, so you literally put it in there. And guests love interaction and doing something themselves, right? So this is a cheese curling wheel, so it normally only works after a few curls. And it's also, with a harvest table, it's also very important to remember to always make a mess. There's one chance in your life where you can make a mess and it always looks beautiful. Like this cheese messing everywhere. Don't clean it up, just leave it as is. Use everything in your house. Like you will see, this is a kitchen table, then you've got your formal dining table, and everything is carried outside to create a harvest table. So it's different size tables instead of just one big one that looks, just one. And also just like using an old bed. And that's actually like a side coffee table that's used as a food stand, So it's just about, thinking out of the box. Anything can be used to display food on. And that's when you create the magic. So always remember to keep it simple. The KISS principle, keep it simple, stupid. And there's nothing like just fire roasted asparagus dressed with lemon on the table, because that goes well with anything, with cheese, on bread, with a bit of the labne, with the salmon. It's an all-rounder, and it's in season now, and that's what the harvest table is about. It's like it was just harvested, simply quickly roasted, little bit of salt, lemon juice, and you stack it up on your grandmother's old platter and put it on the table. So this is our traditional bread from the Boerland. It's called a mosbolletjie. And of course, a harvest table is what's available in the area. And this is a Boerland mosbolletjie. So this has definitely gone on the table. And we always put it whole on the table. And we invite guests to literally tear a piece off themselves. The whole salmon sides is nothing more beautiful, but cured overnight with beetroot, salt, and sugar. And then we literally have a chef at the station to assist the guest in slicing a piece of salmon to go with their bread or their labne cheese or any other cheese for that matter. But there's nothing more beautiful than a gorgeous salmon side on marble, of course, like the Swedish people would do it, and always with a bit of fresh lemon wedges. And then of course salads. You need a variety of salads, from fresh, just tomatoes chopped up with lots of olive oil and parsley and salt and black pepper. And then our favorite is just a beautiful grain salad with all the veg you have left over in your fridge, chopped up, olive oil, salt and pepper, and then this gorgeous beetroot hummus is always a winner because it adds so much flair and color to any harvest table or salad. And you just literally dollop it on your grain salad in a very rustic manner. So that's my take on a harvest table. I'm still going to add more because we believe in more is never enough. So our inspiration for today is a restaurant in Aes that Anne-Man and Réjean and Heike from Kokkedoor, we all went to this restaurant in Aes in France, and it is just the most exquisite place. There's flowers hanging out of the roof everywhere. The over-the-topness is crazy, and the food is simple French cuisine but presented in a ridiculous way. So I saw what it looked like, so now I just have to do it in South Africa. So it's basically the simple, snacks that, we've forgotten about, like crudités, but in like the whole fruit and vegetables, and people must cut chunks of vegetables for themselves, big wheels of cheese, and stunning simple charcuterie platters, and just whole sides of salmon that's just quickly been cured overnight, and just this big bowls of beetroot hummus and flavored salts and sprinkles, and it's just absolutely simple, gorgeous food, but in abundance. And tonight is actually for a small number of guests, but the harvest table could probably feed 100 guests, but we will not waste food. The food will definitely be used, but we want it to look like something because it has to be an experience. It can't be a little cheese board on the side because this is dinner. So dinner and it's perfect. In South Africa, I always believe we should actually eat more cold display foods because we've got this, because we eat 5 different hot foods on a Sunday lunch and then it's 45 degrees outside. It doesn't make sense. We should try and indulge again in more room temperature and cold foods like the harvest table. It should become part of our culture, I believe.
Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe for some new content.
Ring that bell if you want to get some notifications when we post new videos. And if there's anything you'd like to see, please comment down below.
Until next time,
Happy planning!